Joining us for more on that story is Chairperson of the Commission for Employment Equity, Tabea Kabinde. These numbers come from that original report in 2001. It's been 18 years now, but the report still churns out the similar numbers, especially in top management where you see white males still dominating there, despite the fact that in terms of South Africa's population, the white population is decreasing.
True that. What we're seeing is that if one considers what has been happening in corporate South Africa, the shift or the move from the white population in the top management and senior management to persons from previously disadvantaged backgrounds that we refer to as designated employees. The shift has been very slow. And we know that the Constitution actually empowers us to implement the Act and to ensure that there's less discrimination in the workplace and that everybody has a place in the sun in terms of the workforce.
This gradual movement in these numbers, especially into top management for women and black people into top management positions, kind of tells a story of employers refusing to play accordance to what government needs in terms of transformation. Is there a way that you can put the companies to book, the 27,000 employers that have handed you each of their reports, and to say, guys, we can't accept this anymore. It's been 18 reports, and 18 reports later, we're still having the same problem?
Yes, I think we can. I think in terms of the structures that exist within the Department of Labour, we have the Inspectorate Directorate, which would go and look into the organizations that have not transformed and would do an audit to see what the reasons are. And when need be, where we see that there's no compliance, then the directorate can impose penalties. But over and above that, as a commission, we've come up with the promulgation of Section 53, where we're saying that we would like the minister to impose a certificate that allows only businesses that are compliant with the Act to do business with government. We're saying that if business is not supporting the imperatives of the country, it means they do not have the well-being of the country and of its people at heart. Therefore, why should government continue to support them? So we're taking an approach of having punitive measures, but on the other side, also incentivizing companies that are compliant.
When we look at South Africa since 2001, a lot of black graduates have come through, a lot of female graduates have come through, a lot of them have acquired MBAs and the right skills, and any type of excuse these companies can come up with to be in that management position. What are the companies saying in terms of why there is no transformation? Because I'm not seeing the excuse yet.
Well, primarily we're finding two major reasons why employers are saying there isn't any shift in the right direction. The first one is the economic growth, that there's been a slowdown in economic growth, and as a result, it isn't possible to create jobs. The second reason is skills shortage. So let me respond to both in terms of where we as a commission, what our response is to both. First, the economic growth, the fact that jobs are not being created currently in our country, we believe is not true. Because it could be true, but the fact that there are jobs that are becoming vacant, we believe that that opportunity is not being used in favor of affirmative action. So despite the fact that there aren't jobs being created at a rate that they were created in the past, there are people leaving jobs. And what should happen when people vacate positions, what we call natural attrition, employers should look at taking that opportunity to bring in persons from designated groups, and that is not happening. We're still seeing that the white population is being favored at that level, that at the rate at which they're leaving positions, they're being recruited into other positions. So it just defeats the purpose. Now, then going on to the next one, which is the skills development or lack of skill. Part of the workforce movement that we reflect on to see what is happening in terms of skills development, promotions and recruitment, we see that still the bulk of the people that are receiving opportunities for skills development and training are persons that were previously privileged. So people that should be trained and skilled to occupy these positions that are becoming vacant are not being trained. at the rate at which they should be.
If I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying companies are deliberately building a glass ceiling, so those that are previously disadvantaged do not get to those top management positions, because also in the report it shows that foreign nationals are hired in these top positions, so the positions are there. It's not that the employment is not there. I mean, the people are also there, I believe, in terms of top management and skills in this country to be put in those positions. Is this a deliberate act by especially the private sector, because government is doing far better in terms of hiring black people and women in top positions?
I'd be very cautious to make an assumption that it is deliberate. I do believe in some cases that it is deliberate, because we hear from some of the employees that work for these organizations that employers actually go to the extent of budgeting for fines, to say we're not going to comply with the Employment Equity Act, therefore we know we'll be fined and we're ready to pay the fine. In other situations, I really believe it's actually unconscious biases, where when you recruit, you have in your mind a picture of what you're looking for without really deliberately telling yourself that you are going to discriminate against a certain group.
Is that picture not problematic?
The picture is problematic. For instance, one would say, I'm looking for black people who talk in a particular accent. I'm looking for people who have been trained at particular institutions. And automatically you're beginning to screen out a certain number of people that have the skills and the competencies to do the job. But because your stereotypes maintain the best person for that position is the person who has these characteristics, which in fact have absolutely no bearing of the job, they're automatically excluded. So in that case, I wouldn't say that it's deliberate, but it's unconscious biases that need to be addressed.
All right, the corporate sector dragging its feet there in terms of transformation. That was Chairperson of the Commission for Employment Equity, Tabea Kabinde.